Hey everybody, it's Bryan, your Philly Neighbor Reviewer, and I'm here today to talk about, well, actually, I'm here today because, sad passing in the music community, with Christy McVie gone. God bless her. She was cool. I mean, this chick, man, she wrote some major stuff. I mean, think about it, man. She wrote, gosh, man, at least over 100 songs. Definitely at least over 100 songs. I counted a lot of them because I went through all of them. Like, man, this girl wrote a lot of stuff, man. And thing about it is, like, she had like 12, 13, 14 hits altogether in her career. So you think about that, at least 10% of those songs are hits. So, like, every one out of every 10 songs she does, man, it's going to be a hit. That's pretty wild. That's pretty cool. But anyway, everybody's doing, like, what's their favorite Christine McVie songs and blah, blah, which is cool. I'll do some of my favorite popular songs. But I wanted to, like, highlight some of the most underrated stuff that doesn't get talked about much, from her Fleetwood Mac albums and her solo albums. So, well, she did a bunch of albums with Fleetwood Mac, 3 solo albums, and I think a collaboration with with Lindsey Buckingham, which is really cool. Y'all check that out. Awesome album. So, so we're going to talk about her a little bit. So let's get doing that right now. So, Christine McVie, she's born July 12th, 1943, I do believe, in Birmingham, England. She actually was trained in classical piano, but she ended up hating it really bad. So she gave it up when she was a teenager. So when she went to college, she went to art school in London, and then she got studied whatever. She said became a useless sculptress, basically is what the quote was. But she got interested in the blues and R&B scene at the time. And so she hooked up with Spencer Davis. Spencer Davis group, went on with Steve Winwood and made history and all that jazz. But she hooked up with him, sang a little bit and did some stuff, like that. Hooked up with these other cats, man. What's his name? Oh, yeah, Stan Webb and Andy Sylvester, these two dudes. So they were in a group called Sounds of Blue. Sounds of Blue went and evolved into Chicken Shack. Chicken Shack was one of the major blues groups at the time with the British blues boom. So, you had like, Fleetwood Mac, Chicken Shack, you had like the Stones, you had Animals, all these groups, like that. So they were part of that group, that coterie of people. And so she started playing with them. She didn't know much as far as how to play the blues. So, Stan Webb gave her a bunch of Freddie King albums and said, hey, check out the dude pianist, I think his name is Sonny Thompson, and said check him out and try to emulate him. So she did. And then she developed her own style. So it was kind of cool. So anyway, man, so she was with them for a little bit, and then her Chicken Shack and Fleetwood Mac met on like one of the blues clubs in a night. I think it was at the Savile Theatre in London. They met, and then she met John McVie and all that. So John McVie was in Fleetwood Mac. She was in Chicken Shack. Didn't work out very well. So she decided to quit Chicken Shack and just be a housewife. So that's what she did. So, but she also won a Melody Maker Award in I think it was 68, whatever it was, or 69. So it kind of lured her into trying to do her own band and, record an album and all that. So what she did, she recorded an album. Released in 1970. It was called the legendary Christine Perfect album, which is a great album. It has, a few compositions of hers on there. So it's a good, solid blues album. It's got I'd Rather Go Blind on it, which, big hit for Etta James. And so she covered that, and it was a big top 20 hit for Chicken Shack. Did good. So she had a top 20 hit, had an album, and tried to do a little bit of a tour, but it kind of fell apart after 6 months. It didn't work. So she retired again, and then at that same time, Fleetwood Mac was having problems because Peter Green was having his issues and basically quit Mac, and he was their leader, pretty much. So you had Danny Kirwan and Jeremy Spencer and Mick Fleetwood and John McVie, and they needed someone to flesh out the sound, so they just asked Christine to join, which was perfectly logical choice. And she also designed the cover for Kiln House, which is really cool. So once she joined them, she contributed so many songs to them. My gosh, like I said, big hits. Of course, everyone knows, Make Love and Fun and Say You Love Me Everywhere, all these big hits. So I'm going to do, that's my little history of Christy McVie, as far as how she got to, Fleetwood Mac. Of course, married to John McVie for quite a long time, and then married Eddie Quintel, I think is the guy's name. Collaborated with him on some stuff. But anyway, no kids or anything. Like Stevie, they were very devoted to their craft, even to that. So, but anyway, so I'll give you a little list of, my top 5, I guess, most popular Christy McVie songs, and then I'll give you a list of 10 underrated ones that I don't think get praised enough, and they should. They really should. As far as the most popular ones, I'll give you those real quick. But I know the 5 ones that's always stuck with me is, the 5th one I know is Got a Hold of Me. That hit. That was a really good one. I remember that when I was younger, in '84, it hitting. And one of those catchy little songs that stick in your head. But that one, and then Say You Love Me. I love that one. That to me, that's a typical classic Christine song. That's typical of what she does. Very compact song, very well arranged. And then her vocal just on the chorus and stuff, just flying everywhere. It's just a fantastic song. It's probably one of her most pivotal tracks. But then A Love in Store is another one that I think is fascinating. I love Mirage. Mirage from Fleetwood Mac, I think is, again, I've always said this is their underrated album for them. Great song, amazing vocal showcase for them, for all of them on that track. Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham. But and then Hold Me. I love Hold Me. That's probably one of my favorite songs of theirs too, of Christine's. I think she co-wrote that with Buckingham. But love the video. This one certainly a pivotal track in their canon. And then, but my favorite Christine song, of course, popular song, was Songbird. Like most everybody else's, that's her key track. That's her signature tune. That's going to be always remembered for her. But those are my 5 as far as popular favorites. Now I'm going to go in a few other ones that I know that maybe are not as popular, but I got a little list here. We'll give it a little try here and see what you think. There's a few songs of hers that I think really should be highlighted because they don't get credit enough, including her very first song with Fleetwood Mac, which is Morning Rain from Future Games. Morning Rain is a heck of a song. It's if you listen to her early stuff, you get more of a bluesy take on things, and you get that Freddie King feel on those albums because that's what they knew, Chicken Shack and all that. That's what they're trying to emulate. So when she starts breaking out on her first solo album, you can kind of see that songwriting talent coming out. But when you get to Future Games, the very first song she does is this song. And my gosh, I mean, for her, this is like 5-minute song. It's a pretty epic song, 5-6 minutes. But it starts off with that do 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 do, that piano part that's just amazing. A great track, man. And then they just jam that thing. And then the vocal thing at the end, the do 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 do's and all that stuff. That's pure Crosby, Stills and Nash. I mean, that's straight out of that. I mean, what an opening number! What an announcement! What a songwriter coming right off the bat. Show Me Your Smile from that song, Show Me a Smile from that album too, is another underrated track. The way the dynamics from the loud and the soft and the gongs and all stuff that Mick Fleetwood uses. Amazing track, almost like a lullaby. But gosh, what a powerful song! But anyway, that's my number 10th, the Morning Rain, because I think it's a fascinating song that should be known a little bit more. My number 9th choice is a song called Prove Your Love from Heroes Are Hard to Find. Now, that's another underrated album of theirs, because there's a lot of good stuff on that album that didn't. It was like their most popular album at the time. I think it made the top 40. Of course, I mean, it was right before the White Fleetwood Mac album, so it but it was their most commercial album at the time. But it's a very underrated album. Bob Welch does a fantastic job on that album. And Christy McVie, it's really just him and her. That's all it is, because they lost everybody else by that time. But her songwriting is really good on that album. And I love Prove Your Love. It's one of those songs like It's Only Over You on Mirage. If you like that vocal hook, then it's really, it's really going to give you goosebumps. So either you like it or you don't. But I love that vocal hook, and I think it's a really cool song. Great song from her. The 8th one I've got is Who's Dreaming This Dream. That's a song from her second solo album, the Christy McVie album from 1984. That also features Lindsey Buckingham on it. But again, it's a very plaintive song. It starts out plain, But when that chorus kicks in and the vocals and, and oh my goodness, that shows exactly what she does so well. She is so deceptively simple in how she constructs a song. So when she starts soaring out of the box of that song she's constructed, and it goes this way and that, you're like, it's breathtaking. I like to crank her songs up because, man, you just get all the nuances out of them. Here's another one. Do You Know? It's a song called Do You Know from Behind the Mask. That's another great one, underrated song. It comes out of nowhere. In fact, it kind of gets overrated, really. I mean, not overrated, but it kind of gets overlooked on the album because it comes between In the Back of My Mind and Affairs of the Heart, so it kind of gets lost a little bit. That's one that you need to crank up because that song, when it first comes on, and then it kicks in with that vocal, and it's just a gorgeous piece of work. Really gorgeous song. And then I've got two that I got to choose from Tusk, because Tusk is my favorite Fleetwood Mac album. But Honey High is my next one, because that's another great song, number 6. That's a clever one. It's a really hard to describe song because it's such an oddly constructed song. It fades in, for one thing, and then you just got this like minor key guitar and then minor key keyboards from her, and it's like a folksy, like really song, and then and then the gorgeous harmony at the climax at the end of it. It's really neat how it's done. It's one of her most original songs, but it's so low key, and that's probably why it gets overlooked a lot. But great song. You really need to check that out. And then Never Make Me Cry. It was just, when you get to Tusk and you see Lindsey Buckingham doing all these wild experimentation, and you've got all these wild tracks and this weird vocal stuff, and then you get to Christine's Never Make Me Cry, and it's just her singing with a very soft, I don't know, Hammond organ, I guess, or whatever, and just Lindsey Buckingham very softly. I mean, to do that for that track is a great, brilliant idea. And to have that coming before I Know I'm Not Wrong, which is a loud rock, a slow rocker, is just brilliant, really brilliant. Great track. I've always thought that's probably her most underrated ballad. It just, gosh, I mean, just killer ballad. Really awesome. Getting into like number 4, song that I like from her that's underrated is Wish You Were Here from Mirage. That's another good one. Again, another ballad. I mean, the lyrics are awesome. The piano is awesome. The build up at the end, and then the fade out. Gosh, I mean, like I said, Mirage is a killer album. It just is. The last 3 are really kind of wild, but the last 3 I've got are really cool. I had to pick Ricky. Ricky is a song that, if you don't know it, is from the Tango Night sessions. It showed up on the B-side of the Little Lies single. It's a Christy McVie number that is so kind of like Caroline on Tango the Night. It has that weird percussion in the back and the vocal experimentation that Lindsey Buckingham loves to do. But it's the coolest dang song. I wish they put on the album because it's a killer track, man. It's one of the most killer, obscure tracks that you're ever going to find. If Google that and find it, it's just cool. Great song. My number 2 is kind of semi-popular. It's probably the most popular song I've listed on here because it does get played on the radio sometimes. But World Turning, man, from Fleetwood Mac, the White Fleetwood Mac album. Her collaboration with Lindsey Buckingham. That's a killer track, man. The guitar playing and the build-up and all that. Oh my gosh, the alternating vocals and stuff, man. That was just killer. That's a freaking awesome track. I know it gets played a lot in FM sometimes, but yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. That just shows her rocking out in the big time. But my favorite obscure track from Christine McVie would have to be Why from Mystery to Me. If you've never heard Mystery to Me, you're missing out because that's one of their best albums. It's the one that has Hypnotized on it, and it's got their cover For Your Love, which is actually probably the weakest track, seriously. But it's a killer album, man. The last song of the album is a track called Why, and it's called it's Christine McVie's song, and it's almost think like Layla, but like the last part of Layla, that piano part, that soaring guitar and all that, it has that kind of epic sweep to it. But the lyrics, oh my gosh, I mean, when she talks about my heart will rise with the rising sun, and the hurt I feel will simply melt away. I'm like, geez, man. I mean, she has a way of hitting it. She's always optimistic because the woman's had, a lot of different people she's been with and tried to have affairs with. She never had any children or anything, which, kind of wild. Her and Stevie never did. But she went with a lot of people, and it did work out a lot of those relationships. I think Dennis Wilson's was the most famous that she hooked up with before he passed away. But she's always optimistic. But Why is an amazing song. Whistler to me is a great album. You just need to have that album. But anyway, those are 10 songs I've just named, just obscure songs from her that are really good songs that should be known more. But there's a lot of her stuff from Fleetwood Mac that people still don't know. But her work on Behind the Mask is good too. But anyway, there you go. My little tribute to Christine McVie. God bless her. She's amazing talent. She kind of got overlooked with Stevie, but that's the way she wanted it. She wasn't a show woman. She said that many times. But she was just the backbone of Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac has a very odd history, if you know it. But the main thing is that they're amazing songwriters, every one of them. And Christine is one of the best. So God bless her and kudos to her. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. Hope you like, subscribe. Thanks for everything. God bless everybody. Love and peace, man.